I once walked away from a relationship that was just okay. There was no real conflict. We got along fine, and I didn't even have very many complaints. But just the thought of staying scared me way more than the idea of leaving because staying meant I was settling, and I knew I wasn't going to be satisfied with that long term. So I want to share with you what I figured out on the other side of that decision so that you can make a decision that's best for you so that you're not carrying around the heaviness of just okay. And you can be ready to let in all the greatness that's meant for you. So let's get into it. When I was going through my dating season, friend, listen, I dated for a decade ish. Okay. It was a decade and some change, friend. Too long, if you ask me. And throughout that time, I wanted to get remarried so bad. That is what I wanted. It was my dream. And I dated and dated. And you know how it is. Like at first, dating is super fun. Super fun. You're having fun. You're living the best life. And then it just gets tiring and you're exhausted. And there's only so many bad dates somebody can take before you are ready to throw in the towel and let go of love forever. So when I found myself in a relationship with somebody and it was just okay, I went along with it because, it seemed to be much better than just going back through that whole dating on desperately, okay? Just dating on repeat. It felt so much better than doing that. And I noticed a lot of things about myself in that relationship. It was where I smiled the most and just pretended like I was super happy when deep down there was this restless feeling because I knew this just wasn't it. But how do you end something when there's nothing really wrong with it, but yet you know it ain't right? And that is actually a dangerous place to be because that is where you will settle the most. There's a heaviness that comes with things just being okay. And it's a different kind of weight than when something is terrible. Because when something is terrible, you have all of these reasons to justify why it's okay to walk away. And even if there's that underlying doubt that is whispering to you, wondering if you're making the right decision, wondering if you can just do what Smokey's mama said, which is make it enough, because it just seems better than the alternative. But when you know that there is so much better and it's out there, there is something that's pulling you towards wanting to go out there and see for yourself if that's really true. But at the same time, you're so afraid that if you let go of this thing that's not really bad, but it's not great either, that you're taking a risk of just being alone forever. That is definitely how I felt during my dating season. And we can look at this from so many different angles because it definitely shows up in any area of our life where we are faced with that crossroads of do you just stay because it's okay, it's all right, it's cool, or do you want to press your luck and go out there to get your greatness or to at least be open to letting your greatness land for you? I even was talking with a friend the other day and we were talking about when we go out to eat, right? And especially right now, I've been so much more mindful about not eating a bunch of junk, like actually eating good. And there are certain days when, like a Friday night, listen, what are we ordering? Because I've been so great all week. I deserve a treat. And even when I go to order something and I've been looking forward to it all week long, right? And then it finally comes and it's just okay. Like, who was on fry duty and what were you going through? Because these don't taste like they fresh out the grease. You know what I mean? It's like I've been waiting all week for this little treat, and then it comes and it's just okay. It does not live up to what I remember it to be. Like the salt is just right. It's not greasy. It's not salty. It's like perfect. It's not stale. It hasn't been sitting for a long time. Like it's just perfect. And that's what my taste buds were ready for. But ask me, did I still eat it? Yes. Why? Because it was just okay, but it didn't really satisfy that taste that I had for it to be super delicious. And that is the same thing that we do in real life. You finally get into that relationship and it's just okay. There's nothing really wrong with it, but it's not great. But you'll stick it out because maybe it'll grow on you. Maybe you've just been doing the most and you don't want to be seen like you're doing too much. Or maybe you just need to keep putting your all out there and really giving it your best go because maybe you recognize that there's some things within yourself that you're still working through. There's so many reasons why we will accept okay even when we know that it's just not really what we want. And I want to talk a little bit about boundaries here because when we think of boundaries, we often think about the rules that somebody else must follow if they're going to be in our world. And that is one thing that boundaries can do. But boundaries are also your own standard for how you conduct yourself within relationships or areas of your life. Boundaries can become your own code of conduct so that when you find yourself in those situations where you're starting to settle or your people pleasing tendencies are starting to get really loud again, that's the time when your boundaries, even for yourself, should be coming up and helping you out. So when you start to see those signs of breadcrumbing or the surface level connection, it's not really deep, it's just very surface level, meaning like there's no real meat to your conversations. Every day is kind of like Groundhog's Day. It's like, hey, how are you? Good morning. How did you sleep? How was work today? Like when it just gets like so robotic, there's no real substance. Like you getting these breadcrumbs, friend, and you waiting on the meal. So when you see those things coming up, I want to give you this mantra that I've started to use. And the mantra is I just love myself too much for that. I watched Eddie Murphy's documentary on Netflix, and one of the questions that he was asked about was when he was young and in Hollywood, and he was definitely in the party scene. And he was asked, how did he not get swept up in the Hollywood party life? And you know what I mean by the party. And he talked about so many of the great comedians that he had looked up to growing up, and they were his idols. And he's seen how that party life played out in their lives over and over again. And he said, so yeah, I did go to parties. You would see me there in the beginning, but as soon as I seen that the party was starting to take a turn, that was my sign to leave. And then he said something that really stuck with me. He said, I just love myself too much for that. And friend, what if we took that same principle and applied it throughout our life? I just love myself too much to settle, to tolerate less than I deserve, to be with someone and it's just a surface level connection and it's not even really giving me anything that is tangible, that's fulfilling. There's no sign of growth here. There's just people going through the motions just to pass time. So, what if you use that mantra and applied it throughout your life? Because once you have that foundation laid of, I just love myself too much for that, and you feel free to insert whatever that is for you at the moment, whether it's at work or within family or your friendships. You can feel free to insert whatever scenario it is that you're dealing with, that there's a part of you that deeply knows that you deserve more. One of the questions that you should be asking yourself when you're trying to evaluate whether it's time to stay or time to go is to ask yourself, what kind of experience do you want for yourself? Do you want to continue to experience this where it's not really giving you much? And it's also not calling out the best in you. So you're just starting to feel stagnant and restless within it. So think about what it is that you do want to experience. You're so curious about each other. You have fun when you are in each other's presence. You are learning new things and not just about the other person, but also you're learning things about you. You feel safe and secure. You are experiencing this joy and happiness that has this level of newness to it. So, even when you are in a situation and it's giving you the exact opposite of what it is that you really want, that is still helping you to understand and get more clarity about what it is that you want because you know this ain't it. So, what do you want to experience? Get clear on that. And then ask yourself, does this situation, does this person, does this job, is this really supporting what I want to experience? Because if you are in a relationship and you say that you want a happy, healthy, committed relationship, you want to be with someone who is fun and you have your list of the things that you're looking for. So, is this relationship supporting that? Is this relationship going to give you that experience? And these are the things to consider when you're making your decision because it's easy to say, I want to decide what's best for me. And in order to get to what's best for you, you can look at it through the lens of what you want to experience and if this is going to support you in having that experience. For as long as you are entertaining just okay, there's no room for greatness to walk into your life and stay. So if you are still entertaining, homie, don't you know me? And you know that it's just okay. For as long as you are giving him your time, your effort, your energy, there's no room for the right one to come into your life because your time is being taken up by just okay. So, you really do have to think about what it is that you are saying yes to. Because every time you say no to okay, you are saying yes to having room for greatness to land, for your next love of your life to actually come in. Because there's room, there's space. So that emotional weight that you're carrying, it's not a burden. It's really a signal. And it's trying to tell you that this is not for you. And when you can let that go, now your hands are free and clear to receive your greatest blessing that's meant to come into your life. And that weight lifts the moment that you decide it does, because you're not waiting for your circumstances to change. You're not waiting on someone else or something else outside of you to make a change. You have decided that you are making the change. And that's how you start to see things change in your world. So, friend, let me go ahead and give you this journal prompt real quick because you have got to explore this area, okay? Where in my life am I carrying the weight of okay? And what would I make room for if I finally put it down? Yes, friend. Yes. Explore this. Remember, no shade, no shame, and no judgment. Just allow yourself to explore what this means for you. And then I want you to meet me in the comments and fill me in, friend. Tell me, where are you ready to say no to okay? And what's your next right aligned step? Listen, friend, yes, I'm getting all up in your business. As your coach, I get to do that. But fill me in, friend, because the moment that you stop just accepting okay is the moment that you start to create space for greatness to come into your life. I am so glad that I said no to just okay. Because if I would have stayed in that relationship, I never would have met my husband. I would never have this incredible relationship that I have today, this incredible marriage. And it's so much more than what I dreamed of, expected, anticipated, all of it. And that is what you stand to gain in your greatness reception. It is positioning yourself to be ready for greatness to come in. Friend, so good. I hope that you have loved this episode just as much as I have loved making it for you. And listen, to know me is to know I love myself so much. I don't play about me. And if you hang out with me long enough, you will love yourself so much that you won't play about you either. Okay, friend? I will see you in the comments and I will meet you in the next video tomorrow.